That's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
All right. Good evening, Dennis.
Good evening, Eric.
How are you doing?
How are you? I'm just ready for a happy hour.
Well, welcome to happyhour.fm, your number one source for happy hour hijinks.
Here we are.
Yes. What is your religion like?
I don't have any religion, per se. I was raised a Catholic, and then left the Catholic faith altogether and was agnostic, and then ended up going back to church, Unitarian, Presbyterian, back to Catholic, and then back to nothing. And I'm now firm in my belief that I don't know what the fuck to believe.
Amen.
And but this is odd. I do believe in something.
Right. No.
This is what so what I try to, when people do ask me this question, I say I'm more spiritual than I am religious.
That's a common out.
In the spirituality, I mean, part of me is like too busy, right?
Right.
I mean, when I get existential, it weirds me out. I mean, I was driving the other day and got existential, and I think an airplane went overhead. When an airplane goes overhead for me, something happens to me sometimes, because I've always imagined since I was a little boy that when an airplane went overhead that I was in the airplane looking down at a little boy that was looking up at an airplane.
Freaky.
But was in the airplane.
Look, Mommy, there's an airplane up in the sky.
Right?
Yeah,
It's like 12 mirrors lined up next to each other. So an airplane went over, and I was thinking, wow, I'm in this truck, I'm in this car, and thinking about pictures until, right?
Right. Am I down here, or am I observing myself from above?
Thinking, what is this?
Yeah.
This little speck.
Yep.
Of what's happening in this, and you know what? It was the day that they found took a picture of the black hole.
Yep.
That was the day that the airplane went out, and it flipped me into a little whoa.
Yeah.
Until I was like looking at the Earth, and then this little speck in the universe and a black hole. And why didn't the camera guy get sucked into the hole? Was my question. I just
we're
somebody's out there with a camera taking a picture. Why did he get sucked in?
Yeah, we're also focused on our day-to-day stuff that it's so easy to forget the big picture. My very, very, very favorite piece of, it's really prose, but it's really quite poetic, is Carl Sagan's Pale Blue Dot. Are you familiar with that?
No, Carl Sagan. But not the
yeah, so he wrote a whole book, but there's this one passage that he's recorded his voice reading it. But it is just the most beautiful thing, because so what happened was they sent this. It was one of the Voyagers that this thing that they just sent out into space, and on its way out of the solar system, it stopped by a couple of planets to take close-up pictures that we've never had such close-up pictures, and it beamed them all back and stuff. And there was at one point, it was turned back looking at Earth, like. I don't know if it was like through Saturn's rings or something, but you could see this little tiny speck of light, and they called that photo the Pale Blue Dot, and he wrote this thing about how every bit of life that we know exists has lived its life on that little speck of dust that we can see in this picture, and everyone that's ever fallen in love, and every brutal dictator, and everyone. All the best and the worst of humanity has all taken place on this little tiny dot there that is just nothing in the grand scheme of things, and it's just such a humbling thing to, we're all the time fighting over who controls this little piece of land over there and killing each other, and when you put it in that perspective, it's kind of wild.
Right. Well, and the whole existential thing is, when you get caught up in it. I mean, if you're prone to depression, I think existential anxiety will push you there, because at the end of the day, if you're busting your butt doing what we do to get through the day, slogging through our job and whatever it takes. Right.
You're all stressed all the time because you got deadlines and shit.
All this stuff, and in the grand scheme of things, it's like if you start to think about it and how little it really matters, not to us and not to our loved ones, but in the grand scheme of things, whatever that is.
Yeah, right.
But this much I'm sure of is that one day we'll know, and it'll all make sense to us, because we will have that, what I would call this universal knowledge, this historical perspective, because that to me is what heaven is. It's simply awareness. It's a greater awareness of all of the dimensions. And I would say too that I would think the plural of dimensions was dementia.
Whoa.
But I don't want to say that, because if I said it, I might forget it, and then there'd be questions asked about,
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah.
Well, and so you asked me about religion. So spiritually, I believe that the common awareness of higher beings that we will become, and that.
So you do subscribe to the afterlife idea?
It's actually not an afterlife in my view. We're living it now, simultaneous, and this is a small part of that consciousness.
Whoa. So when you say that we all will become, would know the big deep truth.
Yeah, that's misspoken. When we realize, when this part of our consciousness that is dedicated to this world is removed from this and put back to the larger whole,
gotcha.
We will then once again realize our higher self more completely. I don't have this all worked out, but
no, that's fine. No, who does? Anyone that says that they have it worked out is full of shit.
Show me proof.
Yeah,
right. It's like the NCAA tournament. There's never been a perfect bracket. I mean,
right. Lord knows
was that true?
Michigan State didn't win.
Oh, that was bad. That was a bad day.
Yeah,
that was a bad day. I was afraid of the post Duke win letdown, because they left so much on the court for that. And how do you get up that high again? And Texas Tech just was ready for that feeling from them. Okay, Michigan State was Texas Tech's Duke. Michigan, right? Michigan State to Texas Tech was like Duke to Michigan State. They were up for it like we were up for Duke.
Okay, so speaking back to things that don't matter in the grand scheme of things, the
like NCAA tournament.
There's this phenomenon that astronauts have, going back to our previous mention of my astronaut semi-acquaintance, that when you go up there and look at the Earth and see the Earth as what it is, as a big rock, and there are no borders, and there are no there's none of that stuff. You come back and you have this. There's this. The Wikipedia page says it's a cognitive shift in awareness reported by astronauts, and they say that when you come back, that astronauts that go up there, certainly the people that went to the moon, but you come back down and you have this different sense about what is important in world conflicts and stuff, and why are we fighting over petty shit when we're all one species on this planet. Was it Bertrand Russell, I think, called it Spaceship Earth, where we're all on this thing that's flying through space, so we should get along. But anyway, it was just announced this week that my astronaut classmate, she was going to be up there for 6 months, but she got bumped up to almost a year, 300 and some days, because they were looking for world. And one of the things that they really want to investigate is what zero gravity or microgravity, technically, what that does to the human body, because ultimately we want to know how we're going to get to Mars, and to get to Mars you got to be like 3 years in the damn spacecraft with people and try not to kill each other. So That's
Right.
Sorry for nerding out so much on the space stuff, but they've done these experiments that they really sound a lot like some sort of reality TV show where because one of the problems of being 3 years with a team of people in a tiny capsule, and then being in a little shelter on Mars where you can't leave and you have to all live together, is just the psychology of living with other people. Because Lord knows how difficult it is to live with other people. I never really got along with any of my roommates until my wife.
Oh, that well, right.
right. So it's
even that has its moments, right? I mean,
for sure,
it's tough enough with somebody that you're madly in love with, let alone people that maybe don't like them all that much.
Precisement. Yes, exactly. So this is so they've done these experiments where they say, all right, we need volunteers, and we're going to pick and choose personalities that we think are going to mesh well, and we're going to put you in a place that we're monitoring, and these are the rules. You can't go out of the habitat without your suit on, and you can't do this, and you have to work on these experiments and see how that goes. And they've done several of these. One of them was turned into a podcast, which I can't remember the name of, but I will put in the show notes when I figure it out. Where they went and they followed along with these people, and how, it's very much like a Big Brother sort of reality TV show where there's all this conflict, and like so and so said something about me and I don't like him anymore, and two people start having sex, and there's another, and then they break up, and then just what's life in a tiny tight knit tribe like that is. And obviously we came from tight knit tribes like that where we all lived together and didn't really talk to anyone other than 20 people or whatever, but that's going to be a big thing in space travel. So anyway, we can talk about something else if you want.
No, it's astounding. So your friend who you went to school with is an astronaut?
Yeah, she I wouldn't call her a friend, but we did go to the same school and step on the same floors and stuff. Both in high school and college.
You didn't hang out. You didn't hang out with it, but
I'm sure we locked eyes. I'm sure we made eye contact at some point, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. What's her name?
Christina Koch, I think is the way you say her name, and that might be her married name. Before it was Christina something else, but anyway. Right. So she's flying around up above us.
Right.
They go around every 90 minutes. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, man. What kind of a job is that? I mean, you think about the work we do, and wow. I mean, what's that like?
I know. We're like stuck to the floor and shit.
Right. Right. Do they drink when they're up there?
Pretty sure that's forbidden.
Wine? Like wine at happy hour?
Well, I mean, it's got to be.
It's impossible to imagine.
Okay, so water is a scarce resource, and they have to recycle their own piss to drink again, right? So you would need like powder wine that you would like mix up with some water, with some piss water that you would then drink.
Just take a bottle of scotch with you. That's all. I don't get it. How hard is it? I take an airplane cross country. I take a bottle of scotch. What's the difference? Just put it in your luggage.
Yeah.
Just put it in your suitcase.
It turns out
just put it in your travel kit.
It turns out like every gram that they take up there is $500 or whatever of fuel. So.
Oh, I see.
It's a little bit more expensive than your scotch.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty good scotch.
Well, you do drink the fine stuff.
Scotch. It's I found this. I don't know where. I might have told you where I found it, but now I can't remember. And the reason I can't remember is because it's almost all gone already. And that's tribute. It's 10 years old, Glenmorangie.
Mm-hmm.
So my house is coming along. I will tell you that. We're moving in, and all the contractors are there, and everything is kind of going according to schedule. And I have existential anxiety. I mean, it's like, it's going well. What's going to go wrong? Because everything so far has been pretty good. But what an undertaking. I'm glad I'm not working because I barely have time.
So everything was okay when you were in Louisiana? That was just sort of on pause, or?
No, it was good. It was good we were there for the festival, the French Quarter Festival, which was, a full 4 days, a very full 4 days at the end of a 2-week trip. But in the 10 days before that, I worked 6 days. So it was either a full day of work or a half day of work and a couple of drives out of town that were, one was a 12-hour day. So it wasn't that much of a vacation. Part of the challenge was because we booked this before we bought this house, I really didn't much want to be on vacation. I wanted to be here moving into my new house.
Yeah.
And it was a struggle to have nothing to do there but whatever I wanted to do. Played a lot of music and listened to some fantastic music all over. There were 24 stages set. Music started at 11, ended at 7 for the most part. 24 stages scattered all through the city, all within a mile and a half maybe of each other.
Wow.
And 700,000 people.
That's a couple.
Descended, and the weather was great. It rained once. Man, what a lot of music. But to have that kind of leisure.
Right. In the middle of.
Back here, there's an entire house that has to be moved out of, and a house that has to be completely renovated for it. It was a little maddening.
Yeah, it'd be nice to finish your project and then go party. Yeah. But not party in the middle of your project.
You typically do that, or I do that. If I've got a vacation coming up, my workload increases to the max leading up to that vacation.
Yeah.
Under the idea, I don't want anything to be on my mind.
Right.
Get rid of this, get rid of that thing, and be caught up. Don't be nagging with some work-related thing that you don't really need to worry about.
I always have the sensation where my vacation is coming up, and there's this thing that really needs to get done before Eric goes on vacation, and so I work and just barely get it done, and I'm like, phew, finally I got this done, great. And then I go on vacation for a week or two, and I come back, and no one has actually looked at or used the thing that I fucking worked on for all that time. Right. It's like, come on, guys, So often the thing that is due yesterday because we need this done right now, and then you finish it, and then it passes on to the next onto the big pile of shit that is on the next person's desk, and it takes them a long time to get all the way down to it. And anyway, that's adult life.
Yeah, right. It's too bad. It's too bad we have to worry about all this stuff. We take care of our little grandbaby, and what a wonderful. She's just about 2 years old, and she has no cares.
Yeah.
She has her. She has her life in here in this big house. She has the run of like 4 rooms.
Right.
That my wife has got different toys and games and painting and all this stuff. And she'll come into her room in the morning, and she'll stand on her tippy toes a little bit, and she'll walk around in a circle, thinking about what does she want to do first. And she'll put her finger up to her lips, like, what do I want to do? And then she'll go to something, and then she'll sit, and she'll look up at one of us or both of us, depending on who's there, and she'll pat the rug next to her.
Yeah, come sit down with me.
She wants us to sit and watch her
do
this thing. And this is her life every day, all day. And it's like, how long can we preserve this for this child before she has to face any anxiety? I mean, she's got anxiety. Any living creatures have anxiety. But not...
Yeah, her anxieties are about, like, where's the green paint?
Or I poop my pants and I don't want to admit it because I'm really having a good time painting.
That too, yeah. Yeah, that whole waking up in the morning and being like, which of these luxuries shall I partake of today? It's like royalty, really.
Well, and so what about that? I mean, you think about, folks that are fabulously wealthy, right? And so here we are. I don't know about you. Here I am. I got finances. It's a constant concern. I wouldn't say it's a struggle so much as it's just something you deal with every day, every year.
Sure.
Making money, pay the bills, and do this stuff. And we're not wealthy, but if you're wealthy, I had a buddy of mine who was a multimillionaire and became very close with him. And we were talking about this very thing. And I said, what do you worry about? Because I worry about shit that you ain't going to worry about.
Wait, hold on. I know the answer. It's the same fucking shit. It's money and relationships and Did we make $500,000 today, or did we lose $500,000 today?
Let me tell you, you're close on that, but let me tell you what he said, and I'll never forget it. He said, I worry every day about the people who are stealing my money.
Fucking prick. Yeah.
Because he said everybody is stealing his money or trying to.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot of businesses and everybody's trying to get at his money.
Right.
And he's got to constantly not get ripped off. Not for a penny or for a dollar, for maybe $100,000. I don't know what.
Sure.
Doesn't much matter.
Yeah.
It's a point of principle in the first place. It's not any different.
Yeah.
With what I got to do. Except I'm dealing with a guy who wants to do my vent work and wants to charge me $7,000. It's like $7,000. I'm like, $7,000, dude. The whole central air only cost me $35. He says, no, I don't think you want to use this for this. I'm thinking, you're a great salesman. I'll be in touch.
Yeah.
But that's our scheme. Well, 7,000, 7 million.
Same thing.
All right.
Well, it's all relative. And how much
stress is there?
We all have this idea. We're all taught, that society teaches us, that if you get rich, your problems are all solved. And that is totally not the case. It's like how when a 2-year-old turns into an 8-year-old, it's just different problems. They're still miserable because the human fucking condition is being miserable and stressed out about stuff. Right. And if we aren't, then we seek it out. But anyway, continue.
Well, consider 2 continuums: time continuum and a stress continuum.
I'm there.
So everybody shares the same time continuum. So wealthy, rich, poor, whatever, it's the same time continuum. So we're on even Steven.
Well, depends on how fast you're moving.
So now, what do you mean? Whether you're in outer space or not?
No, if you move faster, the time slows down.
You got to move really fast for time to slow down.
Well, that's true, but I'm just saying.
Well, faster than what you can move.
I'm not fast enough. No, yeah. Wait, no. Hold on. I want to get back to this, but one of my favorite ever problems in my physics class was how fast you have to drive for a red light to look like a green light. And this is because of the Doppler effect. If something's coming to you fast enough, the wavelength of light gets compressed, and so for a red light will eventually look like a green light if you compress the time.
830,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, the answer's too fucking fast to care, but it's a cool question. Anyway, the same question that the rich people have, the same problems. Go back to that.
Time continuum
and stress continuum.
Stress continuum. Consider stress. Let's just say consider stress in a certain number of grams. And biggest stress.
We should come up with a unit for stress.
How about a stress unit?
How about a scream? Is that a stressful response? How many screams? Milliscreams?
It's a bit desperate. I think.
It's just how many heart attacks? Oh, okay.
No, that's too much. Okay. How about jaw clenches?
Yes. Okay, so you've got a certain amount of jaw clenches. There's a continuum of how many jaw clenches.
Right. Well, the jaw clenches measured not in the number, but in the degree.
Right. In the pressure.
Of course.
Right.
What did we say it was?
Jaw clench.
A jaw clench. The depth of a jaw clench.
Okay. Anyway, continue with your theory. We got 2 dimensions. We got your time, and
there's only so many. The maximum jaw clench.
Yeah.
Of any given stress is given. A divorce, a move,
right?
Right? It's given.
Sure.
You can measure these. You can provide standards. You can provide, right?
Sure.
So,
got it.
If the stress for me at $7,000 is an algorithm that it takes into account,
right? If you get up to 7,
right?
Right.
So it's a 7 jaw clench level,
right?
Well, when you do the same algorithm for the rich guy, you know what it is? It's fucking 7.
Yep, same level.
Right? So when I say, how are you doing to this rich guy, He says, all right. How are you doing? And I said, all right. Well, the reason you're both just all right,
Right.
because you're both having the same problem.
Exactly.
Completely different
levels. And you can
on the time stress continuum.
And you can take it down another order of magnitude. A poorer person that has a $70 thing they have to spend is right up there with the 7. Because
the guy on the corners, says I need 70 more cents.
Right.
And I could get my wine.
Yeah, exactly.
Until I get my wine, I can't rest. And you know what? He ain't a 7. He's a fucking 9.
Yeah.
Oh.
The human condition, man.
Right.
It's complicated.
Well, yeah, meaningless.
And so
totally
children, that is your lesson from today.
Whatever.
Yeah. So speaking of rich people and divorce, do you see where Jeff Bezos, who I think is the richest man in the world, just got divorced from his wife. Even after his divorce, where his wife, his now ex-wife was she didn't want all of it, but she walked away with $20 billion or whatever because
she's now the 33rd richest person.
Right.
In the world.
Right. Exactly.
Or whatever.
Right. And it's by all accounts, it's that he's having an affair, and she's totally within her rights to kick him to the curb. But yeah, and they were at the same stress level that any people going through a divorce are, probably even more because they've rather than one lawyer, they've got 35 lawyers talking.
Well, I don't know about more. I don't think that doesn't fit the theory.
No,
it's not more
because they know that no matter what happens, they're going to be okay.
Look, here's the deal. Everything that's going on in Bezos' world is of a magnitude of a different dimension. Billions and billions and billions and hundreds of lawyers. And it's like he wakes up in the morning and he takes a piss and puts on his pants fucking same way I do. He's scratching his balls worried about what the fuck is going to happen at his first meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Just like you and me. Yeah.
Well, not really, but on the time stress continuum. I mean, just there.
No, I mean,
in other words,
the most.
In other words, it isn't better.
Right.
It isn't better.
Sure.
It's just different.
I mean,
and it's a different I'd rather have. I'd rather have his fucking problems than mine.
Yeah, that is.
I wouldn't trade my life for anything. I'm happy as a pig in shit. That's not true. I wouldn't trade my life for anything.
Yeah, I'm
good.
Yeah,
I'm good. I'm blessed.
I mean, you're doing this amazing podcast with all 2 of our listeners, so I mean, Bezos probably doesn't even have that.
One of them is your father, which wrote our only review and named you as his son and me as his friend, which reduced his credibility to absolutely fucking nothing. And I got to be careful what I say about your dad, because if we lose him, we're down to one. We're down to one person.
We're down 50%.
It's John White.
Our advertisers are going to be like,
so
you're down to 0.
Bless their heart.
Yes.
They're not listening. What do they know?
Well, you know what? We need to reach out to Glenn Morgan or whoever it is that you're drinking.
It's not a name.
I know it's not a person. It's a corporation.
Glenn. Hey, Glenn.
Everything's
Dennis. Yeah. Listen, man. I love you. What do you mean you love me? I love you. You're the Scotch, right? Well, I'm named after. Scotch.
You can call me Mr. You can call me Mr. Morangi, sir.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. Am I Glenn Morangi? Is that right? Look it up, would you? You millennial. Look it up. Come on, click. Glenn, how do you pronounce it?
I'm not a fucking
Glenn
millennial.
Morangi? You're not?
No.
How old are you? Oh, you can't tell me. You don't know.
I'm like 100. Wait, no, that would make me a centennial, not a millennial.
Right.
So, anywho, yeah, but I mean, there's got to be. I don't know who the hell's listening to this. I mean, are they?
Anyhoo. So, where does that come from? Anyhoo. Where does that come from? Where'd you learn that?
I mean, could it be from The Grinch Who Stole Christmas with Cindy Lou Who? And Anyhoo is going to I'm stretching. I don't know.
You don't know?
Do you know? Would
well-
you like to enlighten me? Should I go to Wikipedia right now and look it up and tell us that actually it's from a Scottish Norse?
It would be your grandparents. It would be your grandparents. You heard that. Anywho,
I mean, I see that all the time. So
you could see that it came into 1950s. 1956 was the first time in recorded history that the phrase "anywho," which, by the way, is still not in Webster's. It's still not there. It deserves to be. It deserves to be.
So I'm sorry. I just went to the internet. So your claim was that it started in when?
1956.
So on dictionary.com, the origin of Anyhoo was first recorded in 1945 to 1950. So that's a bullseye as far as I'm concerned.
Well, first concentric circle out, but I'll take it. I'll take it. And what was it? What does it say?
That was just where it said it was. Now I'm on Merriam-Webster, and it says chiefly U.S., informal, and humorous, which is should be the tagline of our program.
But when you say it, it doesn't sound so funny. Anywho, you say it all the time. That's why I wondered. Where like you might know where you heard it. Anywho, well, anywho. So I like it.
It means both anyhoo, anyhow, and anyway.
Anyway, you use it that way, right?
Yeah. So the Merriam-Webster site is all it has is examples of who said it. You know,
Right.
famous celebrity people. Well, I will do some research and put this in our show notes, which are available at happyhour.fm. For all two of you listening, please go and click. There's
Why would anybody? How much? What? An hour of your day? Now
hold on. You think
I like talking to you. I like talking to you. Yeah, I find you very interesting, and I do it all the time. So with that in mind, I could see why others might want you, but they don't get to interact with you.
Right. Well, there are ways to contact
That's not
us
so
on our
much fun,
website where you can give us content to talk about and promote us to all your friends. Please share and subscribe. But
that's like your first commercial.
Yes.
Right there.
This episode is sponsored by happyhour.fm. Please.
Is it? Good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about
we paid ourselves. It came out of petty cash, but so the fuck, where was I? Right. So because you don't consume podcasts, you think listening to
I have a little bit.
Right, but you don't listen to podcasts of two doofuses sitting around shooting the shit. But
that's ridiculous.
I know.
Why would I waste my
Well,
time?
shut up and let me explain it to you.
Well then. Fine.
Are you ready?
Fine. I won't speak again
So
for the rest of our time. Go ahead.
So a lot of people have time during their day where they spend it alone and bored. For example, people that have a commute, where you have a 45-minute commute where you're in the car and you could listen to music or something, but you could also listen to other people who are just having fun, and you sort of feel like you're there at the bar, sitting at their table, enjoying what is being said. Not that applies to us, but there are some podcasts that are good about that.
Hello.
Would you like to address are you addressing listener 1 or listener 2?
No, this is a new listener.
Listener 3. Holy shit! Welcome.
This is a listener who's driving to Kansas.
We see you.
And this listener is bored out of his mind. We're with you. we're in the car with you. Some things we say will make you chuckle. Others may make you mad, but we're with you for the entire trip. Stay firm. Stay awake. Stay with us.
Keep your eyes on the road. Very good, very good. Keep your eyes on the road, and when you roll your eyes, do it quickly so you can get your eyes back on the road.
Chew gum.
Good. Wait, do we have a gum sponsor yet?
Always dart your eyes from the left side of the road to the right side of the road and chew gum. You'll be safe.
Okay.
We're going to extend this podcast another 3.5 hours to get this dude home, man. This one guy, our third listener who's driving from Buffalo, New York to Kansas to get home for Easter.
Poor bastard.
Well, he's fucked either way where he comes from. He's going. That's why we're with him. It's, you know, he doesn't know why he's even going home, do you, man? You wonder why you're going home. You're wondering, why does this all matter? You're wondering, how come you're so insignificant? But you know what? We're insignificant, too, with you.
You're driving
3 little dots
across this pale blue dot.
Yes.
For what? For what, really?
Yes, for what? For what? You could turn around and go home. And you know what? Nothing would change. We'd still be here. You're halfway there now. Yeah, and you wonder, how do I know that? Listen, dude, I know it. I'm in your head, in the car. It's a blue Chevy with beat-up leather seats. Yeah. And oh, by the way, you better start thinking about getting some gas.
Oh, no. Yeah,
this dude is shocked, man. I nailed him. This is our man. This is our guy, our third listener.
That's what you call the law of large numbers, but it doesn't work with small numbers. Like, if we had 50,000 listeners, you could guess that someone is in Kansas or driving in Kansas right now as they're listening. But as our third listener, that's a long shot. But hey, man, I mean, is his name Gary or what?
No, you don't. First of all, I don't want to get into his name, but first of all, you're missing the boat by a wide margin. You don't. This isn't. I'm not playing some kind of predictability game here. I'm sitting here, and this guy comes into my mind like a plane traveling overhead.
Yes.
And I know he's in a blue Chevy with beat-up leather seats. This isn't a matter of faith, you know, man. This isn't spiritual. This is observation. I feel him. I see him. I touch him. Feel me. Touch me.
Okay.
Heal me. Right? That's it.
Okay.
That's it. You got to get with it. How come you got to get with it? Search your perspective, your existence. Dude in the Chevy. You'll find it. And there'll be 3 of us. Not him. This is feeling lopsided. Not good.
Oh, wait, no. I see him. He's right there in Google Maps. Yeah. There he goes. Slow down, man. There's a cop up ahead.
Good. Now you're with it. Well, I don't know. I mean, we have happy hour anyway. We might as well have happy hour with a couple extra people.
That's the whole point. We're sharing our joy and sometimes acknowledgement that we're all worthless dust, but you know, it's all happy, man.
So, hey. I saw Game of Thrones last night.
Oh,
episode 1.
Wait,
Oh my God!
Episode 1 of
season 8, episode 1.
Yeah, welcome to the people. Welcome to the club of people that want to talk to me about this.
Because you don't care.
Yeah.
You don't know.
You
don't care.
Was it Duke versus? No. Yeah. I watched a couple. I watched the first couple episodes, which are the super sexy, violent ones to get people hooked, and then they dial that shit back and try and tell stories. But there were so many characters, and I just couldn't bring myself to care. But Lord knows the rest of the world does. So if you have an opinion or by all means prognosticate about who's going to die this season.
Well,
because
just by way of background, I read 5,000 pages, the entire Game of Thrones literature.
Yeah.
Prior to it coming out in anticipation, not having had any idea who George Martin was or any of it.
Right.
But I went from a job to being private business person.
And you had some.
And I took a 3-month break.
Right.
And said, I'm not working. I'm going to just take a vacation.
Yep.
And I read all 5,000 pages. So it's a little different.
Oh, for sure. If you're super invested in that and in that way, and Lord knows all of the people on the internet that they want to get super nerdy about it. I'll say, I read all of the. But yeah. So anyway, do you have an opinion? I don't care one way or the other, but maybe
only that. A couple of things.
Maybe this will get our fourth listener.
Number one is that when Jon Snow finally kissed Khaleesi, it was like he was kissing his sister. There was no passion. There was no excitement. It seemed to be kissing her closed mouth. And I wanted to say, what are you, fucking Cary Grant? What is this, 1959? But there was passionless. And I saw... So this is a complaint. This is a complaint that the acting was shit. Oh no. Well,
like it should have, or the director or whatever. It should have been more. It should have been more important, but it wasn't.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I don't know that it's about acting, but let me tell you why. I'm not quite sure. So, if two actors have a spark because there's a mutual attraction that comes across on the screen, I'm not sure that any amount of acting can actually fake a spark. Maybe it can, but I don't think so.
Wow.
So there's either a spark or there's not a spark. And this was like two fucking wooden poles touching each other at the top third of the pole where their lips ought to be.
Right.
That's an image for you, right? How to post lean, I don't know. Leaning pose. They're not going to the ground very well. Maybe they're laying on the ground. I don't know. But, so that's one thing. The other thing is this. Khaleesi, the queen, one of the queens, driving on her horse to Winterfell to join in the big battle of the dead who are coming across the wall. And she realizes the people who are greeting her don't like her. Mm-hmm. And they're Northerners, and they're stubborn, and they don't trust anyone, whatever.
Fucking Yankees.
That's right. And I don't know exactly what she says, but one of the things that happens is the two dragons fly overhead, right? These two enormous dragons.
Yeah.
2 of the 3 in the world. Her third, which was killed and then brought back to life by the dead on the other wall, and now they have a dragon too. It's very cool.
Like our third listener?
But here's my point. Well, we lost Paul, but now we've got 5 new listeners.
Holy shit! Because they're Game of Thrones nerds, right?
Oh yeah. Anyway.
Oh my God.
This is the point. She's riding her horse. The dragons fly overhead, and she looks what? Smug.
Did she look up at the dragons like you looking up at the airplanes and thinking like, "Whoa, man"?
No, she kind of.
She should have.
She kind of like was. Well, they can feel how they want about me, but I have my dragons. and this look on her face was sort of like a high school kid in a cafeteria where everybody's eating the cafeteria food, but she brings in a gigantic piece of chocolate cake that her mother made. And she looks around the room with a fork in her hand, and that look she has that says like, oh, well, I guess it's just fucking great to be me. Yeah. I've got this big piece of cake. That's smug. This is about the dragons. I like it.
Of all the 10,000 similes that have been made about Game of Thrones, I bet that's a unique one. That she was like a kid in the cafeteria with her chocolate cake. But hold on, I have a question. Right. I have a question. In my limited understanding,
hold on. What do you mean? Hold on. Where am I going to go? Hold on.
I mean,
don't take that other call.
Grab under your chair.
Anywho.
Grab under your chair. Things are going to move now. So it's my limited understanding from internet memes that you're talking about the blonde gal that controls all the dragons. It occurs to me, why, if she can control dragons, is she riding a horse? Can you not ride a dragon? Why wouldn't you just be up there?
Oh yeah, she rides a dragon, but it's not for, cross country travel. It's a trip. In this episode,
oh, so this
Jon Snow.
this is like if you don't take an airplane to go 4 blocks, you take.
No, you don't take a rocket ship to go across town. I mean,
But if
you ride a dragon because you're in battle or you want to have the ride of your life, but it isn't like, hey, I suppose you could say, hey, come on, I want to come up, I want to go 4 miles up the road. I got to get some groceries. I don't know. You don't want to piss off a dragon, and they're big. I mean, so where do you park it when you go in the store? I mean, where do you land? And what if the dragon gets hungry and sets the whole fucking store on fire and to get the meat,
right,
the ham, and
So-
the chickens and the turkeys and the
I'm sorry,
fish market.
I understood that she was riding a horse in the same direction, and her dragons were flying overhead,
Yes.
as if you were riding in a car and your fighter jets were going overhead.
Yeah.
So,
Well, here's the thing. The fighter jets is good.
are
That's
dragons
right.
are more like fighter jets than helicopters? Is that?
Oh, without exception. She though isn't just the standard by. She is the head of the armed services.
Right.
So those jets are accompanying her
Right.
heading to war. So the dragons, the most serious killing machine in the history of their world and our world,
Well,
assuming
I don't know
as
about
I
history.
do, I'm sure you do, the dragons did roam the earth, breathing fire and killing sheep, eating them back in the day.
do like a good fried sheep. So
Ridiculous.
So it's more about that she wants to get there at the same time as the army that's traveling with her. Presumably she has an entourage behind her.
Oh, ahead of her? No, not ahead of her.
Behind her. I said.
Behind her, a mile.
But she doesn't want to get there like lickety split like with a dragon to like a fighter. You don't want to take the fighter jet to your destination and then you then have the tanks be like 4 hours behind you. You want to be going at the pace of the tanks.
She's leading her army to war. That means she's leading. The army is behind her. Mark. Oh, bum, bum, bum. Ba-da-da. Oh, Oreo, Oreo, Oreo.
I got it.
Oreo. Got it?
That's like the Oompa Loompas in the Chocolate Factory. Don't they have a song?
It's actually the flying monkeys from A Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
It's the army that is marching as the flying monkeys who are in the same army are flying overhead, and the soldiers are marching, and they're chanting, as soldiers do, and what they're saying is oddly about a cookie. And we don't know why.
That's weird.
Oreo, 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 Oreo. So it goes on a while. So you want me to keep going? Oreo, Oreo.
Yeah, we need to fill another 30 minutes. If you can keep going, that'd be good. The flying monkeys. There's a bunch of interesting things about how we remember movies. Like, I'm pretty sure in The Wizard of Oz, she never says "fly, my pretties," but everyone thinks that that's like what she says. When she's throwing the monkeys out. But I want to go back. I want to pivot around to ask if the flying monkeys were indeed spider monkeys.
No, they were not. They were not.
Because spiders don't fly.
They were not. Spider monkeys are too gangly to fly. Their wings would have to be so huge because their tails are so long that it would be hard to imagine. But no, they're not spider monkeys. They're, in fact...
Why are you so mean to spider monkeys? I mean...
Mean? Why is it mean? They're gangly. They're gangly. I'm not... It's a fact.
Okay.
I lived with them for years.
Oh, right. When you were a child, when you were raised by spider monkeys.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I there was a time in my life when I
There was that one.
lived with the spider monkeys in the trees of Africa. I haven't talked a lot about it. It's odd, as you can imagine, how it happened.
Well,
How I went from there to here, doing a podcast and moving into a new house that needs a lot of renovation. I mean, it's a wonderment. It's a wonderment.
I mean,
even then, it wasn't like I didn't have a care in the world. You know what I was worried about? I was worried about the vines, the trees, how many spider monkeys there were, where they were when they were late.
Right.
We'd have these big gatherings for dinner. Some of them wouldn't show up on time. We worry about that. And then sometimes they'd come and they'd bring friends, and there wouldn't be enough food. We worry about that. And these fucking spider monkeys can eat. They can eat, man. It's unbelievable.
In your opinion, are spider monkeys punctual, or do they tend to go on their own time, like I don't know, Brazilians?
Well, so here you go again. All right, it's not.
I want a class. I want a
universal. It's not a universal group. Spider monkeys aren't any different than us.
I want a
some
generalization
some are on time.
About a whole race of monkeys.
Oh, it's not a race of monkeys. It's a species.
Okay.
I may be wrong about that, but I know it's not a race. Even in my world, where I live with them, supposedly.
Right. Well,
I
mean, they may be gangly, but
no, they're gangly.
Okay.
What do you mean they may be?
That's just your opinion, man.
No. Bring a picture up of them and look at them, and you'll see they're gangly. And in a beautiful way. In a beautiful way.
Way to turn it.
They're a Jimmy Stewart of the Symbian Kingdom. I'm serious. They're lovely in their gangliness. They're lovely that they're out of proportion. I mean, in fact, do this.
So you must they must have thought you were one robust fellow.
Or
were you gangly back then when you were jumping around in the trees?
Well, I was gangly. I grew 7 inches in less than a year. So at one point, the biggest part of my body was my right elbow. It was by definition gangly. I mean, but it was the only. See, my elbow grew first, and then the rest of me caught up. Did you ever hear the feet first, and the rest you catch up, or the head, and then the rest you catch up? This was my right elbow, so that was gangly.
I mean, I do have situations where I'm walking somewhere and my feet get there first, and then the rest of me, and other times when I'm thinking and then my head gets there first, and then the rest of me. But but I've never been. Well, so gangly. You consider gangly to be a compliment, then? No,
not necessarily.
It depends on your species.
Here you go again, trying to force me into a generalization. I may use the word one way today and another way tomorrow. Okay, I'm flexible on most things. Language, flexible.
Right.
And you know what? I don't care what the word is supposed to mean.
I mean,
when I use the word, it means what I mean it to me. It's my right as a human being on the planet. I can do what I want.
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say.
100% salmon all the way. No, that's not right.
No, but it rhymes, so it must be true. There's a huge
Dr. Seuss, right? What you said.
There's a huge thing in Spain where anytime any relatively common human experience comes up, someone will say, "Oh, there's a refrain about that. It you say what you mean what you say, and there's no other way." Or whatever, and
whatever,
right, and it always rhymes, and people and everyone that hears it is like, yeah, that's what my grandfather used to say. Yeah, there's no questioning of does that make any sense, but there's very much the sense of if it rhymes, it must be true. Because
you know what that reminds me of? Anyhoo, same thing. Anyhoo. From your grandparents, it rhymes. Same thing.
It rhymes with So I'm going to the loo. Anywho. Or I need some more tobacco to chew. Anywho.
Yeah, that's right.
It's all good.
We're on a roll now, man. We're on a roll now. We're picking up listeners left and right on that bit of cleverness there. Keep going with that.
The next listener could be you. Anywho.
We just lost the guy on his way to Kansas.
Oh shit! Did
we
he
just lost him.
Did he have an accident or did he turn the channel?
He's
like fuck this shit. Yeah.
He's sick of us. This last thing we talked about, he didn't like.
Well, maybe his mother is named Anyhoo or something. You know, he's little Bobby Who, and he's tired of people talking about his mother Annie.
Bobby Who, little Bobby Who. That's who it was. Oh well.
All right.
He's gone.
Farewell. Hope you make it to Kansas, to the Who family reunion.
I've got to tell you, my friend, I got to go. 6:50.
So you're, hold on. I want to do a quick recap on the status of your wrist. It's looking pretty good.
Oh. I don't even have my splint on.
Please show it to the camera for our listeners. He's unwrapping like a mummy. Oh my God. He's been dead inside this whole time. And there's a scar. That's a tiny little scar.
Well, it goes from here to here.
As all things do.
8 stitches. 8 stitches. Anyways, it's all right. I can't make a fist.
I mean,
I can't bend my fingers. I can do this. See this?
Oh, that's obscene, Dennis. I'm not going to display that for our listeners. Don't stop doing that. Yeah. I mean, it goes from here to here is, you could say that about the Great Wall of China.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything, in fact, like you said. Everything does.
If you've enjoyed what you just heard, you can support us by telling a friend or sharing us on social media. All our episodes are available on our website, happyhour.fm. You can tweet at us at happyhour.fm. That's with the DOT spelled out, happyhour.dotfm. Or you can send us email at the same name, happyhourdotfm@gmail.com. Also, it would be great if you could give us a positive rating on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. See you next week.